beach house is Sarah's graduation gift, Dad smiled proudly. They'd planned a huge moving party. I checked my phone as the trust activated. The security codes changed automatically. Sarah had been talking about that house for months. Ever since Dad hinted at it during Christmas, she'd been sending the family group chat mood boards, new kitchen cabinets, a bigger deck, a sectional sofa in white linen that had no business being anywhere near salt air. She had a whole Pinterest board titled My Place and showed it to Mom at Easter like it was already done. Nobody asked me once what I thought about any of it. I'm the oldest. I've been the oldest my whole life, which in our family meant I was also the invisible one. Sarah is 5 years younger and has always been the event. Every room she walks into rearranges itself around her. I stopped competing somewhere around age 14 and just started watching instead. Here's what nobody at that table knew. Grandma pulled me aside 2 weeks before she died. We were sitting in her kitchen, the one with the yellow curtains she'd had since the 70s, and she poured me coffee and didn't say anything for a long time. Then she set down her cup and told me about the trust. The beach house, the cabin up north, the 3 rental units downtown, all of it sits inside a trust she and Grandpa set up in the late 90s. A corporate trustee managed everything quietly while the family used the properties like they owned them outright. Nobody thought to ask who actually held the title. Grandma said the documents were specific. When the oldest grandchild turned 30, full control transferred. She looked at me across the kitchen table and said, "That's you, Natalie. In 15 years, that's you." I was 15 when she told me. I'm 30 today. She gave me 3 letters before she passed. One to open at 18, one at 25, and one to open on my 30th birthday. The last one arrived from her attorney 6 weeks ago. Single page. Her handwriting at the bottom. "It's yours now. Protect it." I'd been getting updates from the estate attorney for years. Quarterly reports on the properties, the rental income, the trust balance. I knew every number. I knew the beach house pulls in $75,000 a year in rental income after expenses. I knew the whole portfolio was sitting at just under $2 million when Grandma died and had grown considerably since then. I knew all of it, and I hadn't said a word to anyone because Grandma told me not to. She said the family would try to spend it before I could protect it. She knew them well. I did try once. In February, I sent Dad a careful email. I told him the trust was activating on my birthday and that he should review the original documents before making any promises about the properties. I kept it simple. I didn't want a scene. I just wanted him to know what was coming. He never responded. Later, he told me he thought it was spam, so I sat at that brunch table and watched Sarah hold up the keys like she'd worked for them. Dad was beaming. Mom was already crying. Aunt Diane was asking about the guest bathroom renovation timeline. Sarah was on her phone showing someone her Pinterest board. White linen cushions, already moved in mentally, already hosting client dinners in her head. And I sat there with my coffee going cold and my phone face down on the table. The trust was set to activate at noon. At 11:58, I excused myself and went to the restroom, stood at the sink for a minute, looked at myself in the mirror, then walked back to the table and sat down. At noon, my attorney texted, "Transfer complete. All properties now under your control. Your grandparents would be very proud." I read it twice, put my phone face down again. Dad's phone rang 30 seconds later. He looked at the screen, frowned, and stepped away from the table. I watched him through the restaurant window. He was pacing, hand moving to the back of his neck the way it does when something is wrong. He was gone for 4 minutes. Sarah didn't notice. She was still on her phone. When he came back, he didn't sit down. He looked at me from across the table. "Natalie, can I speak with you for a moment?" We went to the corner near the host stand. His voice was low and careful. "The trust administrator just called. He said there's been an activation. That you're..." He paused. "How long have you known about this?" "Since I was 15, I said. Grandma told me everything." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he looked back at the table. At Sarah still on her phone. At Mom refilling her mimosa. At the keys sitting there next to Sarah's plate catching the light. He turned back toward the table. "There's been a complication," he said. Sarah looked up. The whole table went quiet in that specific way that means something real is happening. She looked at him first, then she looked at me. I looked down at my phone. Security codes updated successfully. Full story on the channel, linked below.